had played, you had just finished your business with the vampire. Delving a little deeper into their secrets, you had found inconsistency. Holes of information regarding the origin of both vampirism and lycanthropy. You had learned of the Old Mothers, an ancient, disgraced institution once tasked with control and censure, but were unable to find any distinct lead on the wizard Adivir Boltzmann, who you know is likely after similar knowledge in his pursuit of research on the blight. You've become aware of unrest and dissidence within the kingdom of vampires, and you've discovered that partly, if not entirely, the star-blessed witch, an ancient of the Dominion, is pulling the strings behind it. Despite disruptions, despite your hindrance of a plot aimed at the vampiric leadership within the city, the Festival of Blood, the Vampire Ball, came and went without further chaos. You, of course, attended these festivities, forced partially by your role as guests to the kingdom, in an effort by the royal house to show strength and unity. You completed this last task, showing little weakness as the many aristocrats prodded you with questions and dances. Finally being released from your formal duty and heading back out to the Dart, this time to leave the city for good. This is where we ended last session, where we begin today. You've just boarded your airship, finally alone and only amongst yourselves. Without many more words or hesitation, Vidar moves over towards the ship's steering. But for once, he doesn't take his place behind its wheel. Not even really making sure that all have boarded safely, he barks a few words of command towards the console. Up, south, wide turn, take us around the mountain. And without delay, the ship's engines thrum, propelling the vessel upward and entering a long glide, less gracefully than usual. Though it looked like Vidar was headed inwards without pausing, he stands still for a moment while the vessel enters into its path. Visibly, his shoulders slump and he leans onto the console. An unusual posture for Vidar, who even in unrest or annoyance places a high value on his outward appearance. The last time you've seen anything remotely like this from him, all of magic had been separated from the world. Then, finally, and with only a slight turn of his head, he addresses you. We'll be in flight for a few hours. Tend to your things. I may not require sleep, but I need some rest and rest. We shall talk more in a few hours. And with those words, Vidar continues on, descending the stairs deeper into the airship.
Hux?
Yes.
I can't believe you sat still for so long. That ball must have been like the worst time of your whole life. I can't believe nothing happened with you. Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be proud or terrified.
Don't tell Evelyn, but I fed the forks to to what's his name?
Hello?
Yes. There were so many forks.
You didn't use them to eat?
Why do I need forks? I have hands.
Fair point. Nothing to argue with that.
Yeah.
And I don't need 17 of them.
And those were just for the main dish. But still, well done. So, how was your dance, Red? It's Red
Oh,
here.
it's alright. Yeah. Interrogation, basically. Seemed like it was the same for you.
Yeah. It was weird, and I hated it.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what that particular house is about, but yeah, whatever.
Did you learn anything?
Only what we learned about the wizards, which they were a bit curious about as well. Although I think they were more curious about the Dominion. Not that I told them anything about that. So hard to read exactly what side that particular house is on, if any. Probably just opportunists, it seemed like.
Certainly have to be cautious if we cross paths again with them, but hopefully that won't be the case.
Yeah. I am curious if we're gonna run into the old mothers and is that other family, I suppose, that I was talking to seemed more interested in them. And of course, I presume that Boltzmann would as well if he's interested in origins of blood curses. So
It's highly
curious.
possible that would be the group that we would interact with more than anything else if we're following in Boltzmann's steps.
Yeah. I have to be careful. I don't think they're necessarily enemies, but seems like a lot of secrets.
So,
Certainly
who are
keep
these
in mind.
mothers that you're talking about? I kind of didn't get a lot of that.
So I think they're the oldest vampires, if I understand, though not the most powerful, perhaps.
So the originals that probably would know most about the origin
Yeah.
of vampirism.
Yeah, I would think so, or at least they removed the information about it, if there were any older ones.
Oh,
Okay.
so they were probably responsible for that hole in history you
Yes,
guys found.
definitely were.
Mhm,
Yes.
Because
And-
yeah, that library visit that you guys didn't you say like
Mhm.
you talked to like a book or something?
Yeah, which
Interesting.
also didn't tell us anything particularly useful, but
Okay,
no.
great.
Regardless, the hint from that family that I talked to was that in some way it's related to like the prior war between the planes. Like we ran into that old fortress and whatnot down underground. As far as the war between the Abyss and this plane, and I don't know if this place was in that war, but all the weird celestial stuff hints at that. Quite understand. Anyway,
So Celestials were involved.
apparently,
What
I don't
about
know.
the opposite, like devils and whatnot? Think they've been involved too, or just Celestials?
Yeah, well, no, they definitely were. Like, remember that's the whole thing with apparently my family.
Yeah, I didn't want to say your family, but that's what I was about to ask. But
Yeah.
just didn't want to say it out loud. But now that you said it, yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
It's not really your family. You don't know shit about them, right? Your family is your mother, and that's it, right? So.
Well, yeah, right.
You mean like your
distant
blood
ancestors,
origin, whatever it's called, yeah.
Right.
You're not like one of them, right?
Not directly. Unless, no, right, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, it would be kind of cool. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
if you could control that kind of power, you know.
That would be...
No, I'm not gonna lie, the way you are, you're kind of powerful already, so... No need for all
Thank
that
you.
other stuff.
Yeah. But I don't quite understand all of what they were hinting at, so we'll see. I suspect that we might be somewhat on the same side as far as resisting the Dominion. But I don't know if we would necessarily be natural allies with the Old Mothers.
Right, it's a careful line to tread.
Yeah. So we will have to see.
Oh yeah, by the way, if there's gonna be a rumor flying around that I killed the Hierophant, that's just...
Mhm.
I have nothing to do with that.
I mean, it wasn't Madar. So...
No, what I mean is like, I mean, I try to say it like an idiot, and I feel like that vampire woman was like not believing me at all, because I gave stupid answers the whole time, so I hope that worked. I'm not good at conversations, okay? So...
Oh, it's okay. I gave the answer that the best way to fight is peace.
I mean...
So that's pretty deep.
That is...
That's
Hmm.
stupid.
Yeah. Yep. It's either stupid or really smart. Or both.
It's, yeah. That's,
I'm terrified by my own genius sometimes. I know. Anyway.
But yeah, we just, let's just hope we never, like, see any of these people again, I guess.
Yeah. That sounds good.
And that it doesn't matter at all, hopefully.
I assume as you are having this conversation, you are slowly filing inside.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, not dark.
Then as one by one you file into the ship's interior, Corinne enters last. As she does, she carefully engages the gate's lock, watching it clank shut ring after ring. As already the grey dust and ash has begun to blow across the deck outside.
How does she look? Like Vidar looked worn out or sad or something.
You don't really see anything from her posture, but as she would turn, you would see that there's a worried look on her face.
Corinne, is Vidar okay? Did you get a chance to talk to him at all?
He gets like this when merely talking about his family too, you know?
Yeah.
Despite the way he seems and carries himself, Vidar is actually from fairly modest circumstance.
Interesting.
His father married into a minor house, one not even considered of noble blood. That's why it's not von Sigvar Velenen, just Sigvar Velenen. They married for love, his parents. But you can imagine it brought them all sorts of strife. He hated his father, from what I hear. He was also not a very good one. And then when Vidar finally started to make a name for himself, gaining his own command and responsibilities, his family sent him away to Kauron, to us. He told me he didn't seek contact for years. I think he became a wizard at the academy well before he reached town. Corinne pauses for a moment, almost herself slumping her shoulder. When he did, he learned that shortly after his leaving, his mother died, and the family was declared fallen. His family and siblings were entombed, like you saw, so he stayed and never went back. The Von Siegfriers, his father's original family, were there at the dance. They didn't leave their table, but I was watching Vidar during his long dance. When he gets a telepathic communication he doesn't like, he gets a little wrinkle in the corner of his eye. Like his eye wants to twitch, but he's holding it down. I don't think it was the Queen, so...
Well, it's alright.
I'm sure he'll be ready to talk in a few hours. The ship's in flight, anyways.
Yeah.
Try not to bother him too much in this time. He'll come back when he's ready.
Of course.
I'm glad that he's got at least some good friends around him. Kind of indicating her and
Well,
some of us.
he's still hoping that more of his old friends are still around.
Yeah. I'm curious with all the talk of the Wizard's Towers falling here and there and everywhere. I think it's possible.
Given my own situation when you found me, this has me worrying. As much as I would like to find out what really happened, I can't say that I'm not afraid of finding out what really transpired.
Yeah, that's also fair.
As with all of research, I suppose there's nothing to do about these feelings but simply finding the truth one way or the other, taking the plunge.
Yeah.
Have to take it with what information you get and go from what you find.
More data. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, what is your plan with him? You see Corinne pointing toward Silas's simulacrum.
Oh, set off the traps first. Unless you had something else in mind.
Oh, no, not at all. I just... seemed like you had something in mind.
I just thought more bodyguards better for the... Well, we were pretty outnumbered at the banquet.
Yeah, we were
If anything
expecting
happened.
something to happen.
Hmm,
Because usually
certainly.
wherever we go, something happens that ends up us fighting something. So, pleasant surprise, to be honest.
Whereas the one time
Better
it's
safe
super
than sorry.
boring, that's when nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
It was a different sort of battlefield.
It was, yeah.
Hugs just like frowns, confused.
Looks like
What?
what?
I'd rather fight
What
vicious
was the
monsters
battle?
than fight this kind of fight again, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm curious about this. This Dominion.
Well, I can't say once we see the lichens, things will be much different. Unless you do antagonize them, which I do not think it is our smartest option.
Do you...
She
do you know-
looks towards Huxley.
Do you know the lichens from Polythreme?
I had seen them on occasion, but we never interacted much.
How do they compare?
Well, to that I can only relay what Vidar had told me of the times before he left. I've never been to Calestins.
Good point.
In Vidar's descriptions, lichens used to be a narrow-minded people. More so in the fact that they would keep to their tribes, much like the houses do, in fact. And they were somewhat resistant to the change and progress that would integrate them into Calestins' society as a whole. A lot of them opted to live separate. I believe many of them still do. Though I imagine in the last 100 years or so, they must have found some path of progress. You should probably ask Vidar more on that.
Maybe. Or maybe the ones that were more open already left. Or the lichen and polythreme seemed reasonably well integrated and pretty...
In Vidar's stories, at least, most of his tellings were of conflicts, of skirmishes. So they were most often described as savage fighters, ferocious.
Look, I got used to the ones in Polythreme, and Catherine is a friend of ours, and at some point I got used to it, but I'm not looking forward to seeing more of these.
Yeah. Especially if they're not like the ones that were down in Underdark.
And Saleh looks like he's about to say a word and then bites his tongue and not saying the word he wanted to describe them.
He's about to say a slur. Stop him, somebody.
Yeah, it's the M-U-T-T slur he was about to say.
There's different kinds of lichens.
Yeah, I mean...
They're like wolves and foxes.
Sounds equally terrible to me, but we'll see. It depends on like how ferocious they are and wild compared to the mostly tame ones in Polythreme. I mean, when they turned, I know, but like they were like in society and they like walked around and were decent people mostly, so you could talk to them.
Well, as much as vampires do have this nobility about them. I'm sure you've seen some of their more ferocious side as well. Perhaps it's something inherent to the blood curses. And perhaps the Lycans have embraced that part of themselves more than the vampires have.
I wonder if there's anything that we should stock up on before we arrive.
Like I don't even remember as a player in this world was the Lycontra 3. I don't know the word. Can we become werewolves too if we got bitten or whatever? Is that something transferable in this world, or was it?
Yes.
Okay, it's just like a classic.
Both
werewolf
lycanthropy
curse.
and vampirism can be transferred.
Okay. Because now Soleil is like thinking about, holy shit, I never want to turn into a werewolf. That's like my worst nightmare. That's like this.
My God.
His thoughts are going like, oh no, please no, not a
Now I'm
cat
just
turning into a
picturing
werewolf.
Silas mid-transformation.
At least make it a werecat or something. Even like a werewolf would be so bad. So I guess we should talk to Vidar, but maybe not right now. I think he needs a bit of time.
Yeah, we'll give him a couple hours.
I'll probably go check on Vint until we get settled a bit more.
Sounds good.
Sure,
You want to do
doppelganger.
some practice, Silas?
Yes. Doppelganger. I guess you just follow Ablin around. Have fun.
Or you can practice fighting with two of you. Like, in a team.
I mean, could do that.
Oh yeah, it could be like wolves. Or wait, pack tactics. No wait. Oh wait.
Maybe
The glance Silas throws you.
I mean,
Like, if glances could kill.
No, I was just thinking about something else.
maybe you can sit on its shoulders and then you can like fight with two swords at the same time.
Oh, like
Isn't that like
a
4 swords?
720 caliber. I don't know the technique. Actually, I'm not a sword fighter. Wouldn't that be 4 swords?
You normally fight with two swords.
I believe Silas technically has a whip in an offhand.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So 2 weapons and then 4. Yeah.
yeah. And you could like... That would be so deadly if someone attacks you and then someone attacks you from 2 feet above you. At the same time.
Yeah. I guess it is.
Like, this is extremely excited about it and makes you practice this technique.
I guess Saxley could also need some training, so...
Huxley can train the aerial attacks.
Please don't hit Saxley. If you want to train aerial attacks, not on Saxley, please. He's fragile, probably. He doesn't have HP, so I don't really know.
You become stronger by getting hit.
Look, that could be, but I feel like your hits might be a little bit too strong. You are the strongest of the group, you know, so... That hurts a lot.
I guess.
Look, my body remembers every single attack I haven't dodged from you during our training sessions, and remembers them very well. So
You should start dodging them. Attack!
oh god!
I guess we do some training.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the
That's
next
so
few
intimidating.
hours,
You should yell attack every time before you attack in future battles.
Huxley
It's so intimidating.
and Silas train, I assume, in the Magnificent Mansion?
I think so, yeah.
No.
No?
No?
Oh, no
No.
mansion
I'm
there.
not going.
Then we
I'm
just,
not
then we
going to
just,
use spells until we're at the end of the day.
Too early.
Makes sense.
Okay.
So we're gonna
It's too
fight
early.
in the hallway.
Okay.
I might need that.
There is a, large enough space on the control deck of the Dart. You can easily do some fighting on it. Avoiding the walls and, as you know, hold some intricate machinery. What do the others do in that time?
Evelyn's probably just taking inventory of all of her things, checking on Vince, checking in on Kieran, making sure everything's in order there.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I have anything to do.
Okay.
We're already running like death ward on pretty much everybody. So yeah.
Then, as 3-4 hours pass, and the light outside fades from the window, you start to grow relatively tired. As the end of the day approaches, is there anything in particular that you do?
Vidar said he was going to talk to us in a few hours. So I don't think I want to do anything before that happens.
Okay. It certainly has been a few hours, but you have not yet seen Vidar re-emerge.
I suppose if it gets to like, I don't know. It feels like
Evening hours do turn to night hours as you continue to wait.
I'll just kind of go see if I can find him and check in.
Going through the ship, going down towards the engine stack, where the thrumming and rumbling of the engines grows significantly louder and more tactile, vibrating through the very floor as you step down. You see Vidar sitting on the floor, next to the navigator. His eyes closed. In some sort of meditation.
I will clear my throat. See if he.
You clear your throat, but even as you, slightly cough, you can tell that in the rumbling of the engines, for the most part, it's being drowned out.
I don't particularly want to approach a meditating vampire. I guess I will just raise my voice to where it would be normally heard above the engines and be like, Vadar.
Vidar's eyes snap open.
Apologies for interrupting. It's evening. Did you want to reconvene tonight? You don't have to.
We should. Time is pressing. Slowly, you see him rise to his. Are the others waiting?
I think most people are about the gathering for dinner, let's say. Does that sound about right?
Probably.
Everyone's standing where the door of the mansion usually is, just grabbing at the air.
Basically. That's what I said, gathering for dinner.
Why isn't it here? The door.
Will we be on the dart tonight? Or are we going to set out yet tonight, you think?
Are you asking if we land tonight?
I'm asking if I should put up the mansion if we are going to rest tonight or set out on some type of night mission.
We will be in flight for at least another day.
Perfect. So I'll go put up the mansion and we can all talk there. That's what we do. I will let everyone in and let Corinne know that we're doing dinner in the mansion if she wanted to join.
Mm-hmm.
Silas looking at Red like, oh, so now you're gonna summon the mansion. Meanwhile, we had to avoid all these consoles and whatnot during our hour-long training session, and now you open that. That's what his glance
It's good to
tells.
train as you fight. We have many fights aboard the Vidart. This has been a productive exercise.
Sure.
Despite Vidar following you up, you take note that he still seems somewhat distracted. Not really paying much attention to what you are saying amongst each other.
Can Evelyn, this is not her forte at all, but can Evelyn try and, I don't know if this is an insight or medicine check or not, try and figure out, like, if there's something, like, mentally, like he's thinking about or distracted with, or if he's ill with something, like somehow, like, exhibiting some sort of more, like, physical ailment?
Go ahead and roll me an insight check.
It's a 16.
It's not hard to see that Vidar is obviously distracting. As to the reason why, you can only really make guesses. Physically, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with him. Unfortunately, vampires medically already look a little sickly all the time. But you also know that a vampire's constitution to at least most of the illnesses that you're aware of is incredibly high. It at least seems unlikely that something minute is affecting him.
Okay. Right, should we discuss things further, or should we retire for the evening?
Right. We should. Our next stop, as much as I would have preferred some peace and quiet, is going to be the Lycan tribes. There is a particularly large congregation of them on the north side of the mountain. You were saying?
Is that where you think the base of the mountain Wizard's Tower is then? Would that correspond?
I am unsure. This tower. What was that about? There is a wizard's tower?
Yeah, so that
one
was...
like we found. The one that held Corinne.
It seemed like it was put up by a wizard and described as at the base of the mountain. Right, Beggar? Like, I mean, it's been a while, but I think that's what that vampire said to me.
She mentioned that there was a tower and that there was activity. Whether or not it was put up by the wizards wasn't specifically mentioned.
But it was at the base of the mountain?
Yes.
I don't know if it was put up or what, but it seems like it is active and engaged.
I was unaware of this tower. There is a likelihood we'll be able to find them simply by skirting the edge of the mountain. Whether or not it lies on the path to the lichens, I am not sure.
I don't want to delay us much, but...
worthwhile thing to check out. Though, if you are suggesting that it could have something to do with boltsmen, that would be unlikely.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily that, but as Corinne, nodding at Corinne, has pointed out, she might not be the only one, and might be worth checking out.
Of course. I will search for the tower while we are en route.
Great. I'd hate to leave somebody to the vices of whatever particular lord or lady, I suppose.
Of course.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, though. You're talking about the vampire, the
right, that's all right. It is important information to share. Aside from the tower, we are looking toward the central city of lichens, then. The tribes that have not integrated into the capital on the other side, near the coast. Whether or not we will be welcome at all is up to a guess. But with the current situation, I would imagine it would be safest to treat everyone in this city as hostile.
Yep, seems reasonable.
Without any specific leads to go on, it is most likely that this city is where Boltzmann headed. So, in terms of a plan to find him, the best we have is to go under cover of sorts. Try and find any sort of information we can. It would be prudent not to appear as we did to the vampires, flying in on a silver-clad ship.
It would be best to approach from foot then, once we get closer.
Once we reach near, we will set down and continue the rest on foot. Hide the ship best we can. And ourselves. A vampire will not be as welcome as anyone else. If you have such ways, it would even be preferable if we could disguise ourselves as lichens ourselves. Though for some of us that may be more difficult than others. For those not ready to commit to such a ruse, a disguise as simple nomads or travelers will have to do. Just tread on dangerous ground, if you understand.
Yeah.
Are all lichens wolves in this world?
There are other times, though I could not tell you how many.
We
I-
could be cat lichens.
Is so if vampires are less likely to be I don't know how to ask this delicately. If vampires are less likely to be accepted, would it make sense for you to be the one disguised or transformed?
I will
Put on-
polymorph before we get there.
Alright. Is that something that will last long enough? Do you have a way to do that? I'm just, checking.
Yes.
Alright, sounds good. Is anyone else particularly interested in... I don't... Point of order, Beggar. We've seen lots of werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
I know true polymorph. Werewolves are shapeshifters.
Mm-hmm.
If I true polymorph someone like Evelyn to be Evelyn, but also a werewolf, would she get to retain any like stats? Does that make any sense?
Polymorph would be powerful enough for you to alter someone's appearance as you would wish while they retain their abilities. However, giving them the ability to shapeshift may be more difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how like. Well, I'm thinking about true polymorph, but
if you true polymorph someone into a lycanthrope, there is a strong possibility then they wouldn't be able to retain all of their ability.
mm-hmm.
Unless, again, you only change their appearance.
More cosmetic.
Yeah. Is anyone interested in that? I mean, like, authenticity in the sense of actually being one via true polymorph could be pretty useful. But at the same time, I understand if, you don't want to lose. And this is assuming that at some point I could then true polymorph you back to how you were before. Which I think is pretty reasonable, because I know all of you very well, but just a consideration.
I mean, I can already shape change.
Yeah. I was sort of directing this more toward Evelyn the most, in the sense that if she was the one that was the real werewolf, she could continue to be acting as the leader, and we're her accompaniment, and
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what would be lost, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Would that just be racial stuff?
You would lose definitely any racial abilities you'd have. There is also a chance that you lose access to some of your spell slots.
We could also just like try it for a day, and if you don't like it, I don't know.
I'm trying to reread. Can't you just dispel it?
I think you can under the new rules with a check.
Sorry, I was about to say something. With polymorph, true polymorph, you can have it be permanent, but I would say that if a creature is unwilling in that regard, it would be more easily dispelled than if the creature was fully willing to, set permanently into that new form.
Okay. Yeah, think the wording.
There's also the option to obviously true polymorph back, given you have enough knowledge of the previous individual. And then there's always a wish.
Yeah, I don't think like getting back is too difficult.
Silas is not even considering it. Like permanently turning into a dog is like no.
It was not directed towards you at all.
I know, but just
know.
he's just ignoring that you threw that into the room. Like anyone could do this, and he's like, yeah, and he doesn't mean me.
I've insulted the Silas enough today.
Yeah, from my understanding, it lasts until it's dispelled. You can dispel magic as Rhett, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Evelyn can dispel magic.
Yes.
But I don't know if I'd keep that spell slot. But Vidar probably can dispel. We got some wizards. Someone
Yeah, I
better be
think
able
we're
to
fine.
dispel magic. It's only a 3rd level spell.
Don't you want to find out what it's like for a day? You know.
Oh my gosh.
Can I roll persuasion check to persuade? I think it'd be hilarious to see a gnome.
Chance fine within.
What is a gnome werewolf like? Is it like a werefox? That's what I'm going with. Like, what is it like, man? Like a super clever werefox? Yeah.
It's Chetney.
If we have means of disguising, that'll probably be the most solid way of doing so, and I'd reluctantly agree to it.
Done. Bazam.
Cast it right now.
Right now.
No.
I want to use my slot tonight.
Oh my gosh. Are you actually trying to cast it now?
Yeah, if you're actually down. I'm like, oh yeah, well, today would make sense for that. If we're gonna be doing all this stuff tomorrow, get used to it a little bit.
I suppose that would allow me to understand what changes have occurred and if it'll become too problematic.
Makes sense to me. Now, Bazam.
Unbelievable. Actually, unbelievable. Let me quickly look thing up.
Have you ever known Rhett to be the patient?
No.
No.
So she's still gonna be a gnome, but a werewolf gnome.
Yeah.
It's a great
So,
question.
I will describe.
Would remove curse.
In my mind, I'm thinking about the most clever, like wise old wolf, maybe fox, that I can think of. In as a werewolf. I have no idea what this
Okay,
means.
several questions. Are you trying to have Evelyn keep her current appearance?
Yes, as the humanoid form, yes. Like, I'm trying to make it fully werewolf in the sense that I've seen werewolves. I've seen Caitlin, I've seen Grond and Terran, I think. They have a humanoid form, so I'm just like leaving that as Evelyn.
Mm-hmm.
So she's super comfortable in that state.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
I'm
doing my best.
Figure this out real quick.
I also find it hilarious that Silas is going to have to guard werewolf Evelyn.
Oof.
Look, don't even
Really
talk
sorry.
about it.
Never mind.
Oof.
Never mind, I'm changing post.
Okay, so
That's when
I'm
bodyguards
going to
turn
need
into assassins.
a couple of checks from you.
For sure. Who knows? Maybe this will be an upgrade.
First, you can give me a medicine or history check.
Okay. We'll go history. 17.
Okay. And then second, go ahead and roll me an Arcana check.
Okay. Okay, so so listen. I don't want to mess this up. Take my snip. Natural 20.
Natural.
Upgrades, people. 9th level spell upgrades. For a 26 overall. Natural 20.
Evelyn,
Yeah.
I'm assuming you do not resist Red casting the spell.
Reluctantly, no.
So as Red casts True Polymorph, you do not notice much of a change. There's this sort of sense of unfamiliarity with your own body that is there for a moment, sort of going through you like a wave. But you manage to, for the most part, let it pass through as you start to take your new form. What's your current highest level spell slot?
I think it's a 5th level spell slot.
Okay.
Yeah, 5th level.
You no longer have access to 5th level spell slot
Okay.
while you are in this form.
Okay.
But you gain some different stats that I'll get to you in a second. You would now have the ability to shift into, I don't have a fox ready, your were form.
Okay.
And I want to get you a shortened stat block in a second.
Got it.
Red, as the spell takes hold, you successfully transform Evelyn into a werebeast.
Here you are. Oh, wait, I had a fox. There it is. What? Why is it falling through the table? I must have been something wrong.
Oh, custom model? What is that?
You put
It was a fox. And it, I don't know. It's not working.
Load right there.
It fails to load the object.
Never mind.
Yeah, I saw it for a second.
This
I
one?
just can't.
Weird.
That looks like a Nomi fox.
Aw.
Where did you grab that?
I have all my polymorph bags.
Yeah, but like, what was the asset originally from?
You gave it to me. It's just been in my bag.
I did?
Yeah. You gave me all of these.
Oh gosh.
It's from this beast creature token. I don't know. It's probably just the 3D ones.
Yeah, some of those might be busted now.
That's alright. This one works. Can you see this one?
Might also be the original uploader has removed it, if it can't find the Google Drive link.
Could be.
Yeah, I can see that. think the tokens should largely be fine.
Alright. Meanest Phoenix Fox ever.
The most ferocious one. Wouldn't it be funny if she turned into that fennec fox and it's not like as tall as herself, but like an actual fennec fox? She's just turning into a mini fox.
So it's just like
So what you're telling me
a
is
foot
I
tall.
should
Yeah,
these
or even
stats in
smaller.
half.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh no.
To be clear, I was not thinking of a fennec fox. I was thinking of a large actual fox.
Mhm.
Foxes are technically more feline than canine, I think.
They're pretty
Yeah.
canine, I believe. I think they bark.
They can like cackle.
What does the fox say?
Ring, 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 ring.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Absolutely. This one's an artificer, so it does.
Like they're definitely a canine, but I think like mannerisms they fall closer to the feline.
Should have turned into a red panda.
Yeah, no bears. No werebears.
Nine-tailed fox like kitsune.
They look more dog-like, but in spirit they're more cat-like.
You have fought a werebear before.
Yeah, I remember it was naked.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's not like you wanted to be. Cut it together the way it makes sense, but I have no idea if this breaks something. Like, that's why. So we're just gonna roll. Alright. Doing it live. You have the ability to shift into your hybrid beast. You can shift fully, at which point you will have the stats of a direwolf. But your more powerful version, of course, is your hybrid form, the more humanoid. And this would be your stat block when you shift.
Alright.
Hey, you're more charismatic when you're a cute fox.
Are these my stats?
Those would be your stats when you assume your hybrid form.
My intelligence falls so badly.
It's fine. You know, that's what gnome Evelyn is for. This
So
is just a straight up.
when I'm not transformed,
You
I
have
keep my
your
normal.
original stats, however, you do not have access to 5th level spells.
okay.
It's probably decent, actually. It's super good.
Silas,
Uh-huh.
Can you give me a perception check at disadvantage?
Is it based on smell?
Mm-hmm.
Still disadvantage because I usually
That's why
have.
it's disadvantage.
Oh, that's why it's disadvantage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Perception, you say? Okay. Natural one.
You're trying to, but you cannot ignore it. There's this smell that has started to sort of waft off of it. It's faint, but it is there, and you know that smell. This musty smell of fur. Not clean, not good smelling fur, not like your fur. Like
Of course not.
dog fur.
Have you showered lately? Looking at Evelyn.
Excuse me.
It's just... sorry. And he just turns around and it's like coughing and just leaving the room. He's just going
We're about to
downstairs.
enter a whole city of this smell.
As soon as you
Waste.
start sort of heading away from Evelyn, the scent does not seem to stick around for very long. It is not a very strong scent. But you're also aware that if this is gonna be Evelyn's scent for the next few days, possibly, it's gonna be stuck everywhere.
First thing I'm gonna do is check my equipment if I can do something. to get some different smell. Oh yeah, I have... Oh, that's perfect. I still have, for whatever reason, 5 bottles of ethanol with me, so I'm gonna open one of those and just sniff it, just to get, like, the smell out of my nose.
The ethanol stings in your nose. It burns, but there's also a sense of cleansing you feel in that,
Mm-hmm. Good.
where your mind at least is, for the moment, somewhere else than that smell.
Does my size change in the
No.
hybrid form? Okay. It just
Yeah, well, in the
it's
hybrid
medium.
form, you probably grow a little bulkier, but you wouldn't grow humanoid size.
Okay, good, good. But theoretically,
Generally, you keep yourself.
in the hybrid form, Evelyn could keep her like armor that she wears.
Yes.
Okay.
You are absolutely adorable. I'm pretty
You
sure.
do get covered in fur when you hybrid. Just FYI, in case that matters to your armor.
I don't think it matters to my armor. But good to know.
Matters to my nose.
This is when everyone in the party becomes a furry.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
It took us long enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'll test this out later, but what is the plan for everyone else?
I'm just your butler.
Hux already looks like a werewolf. He has grown like a bunch of extra fur and
Oh no.
I would tell you about Lycan mannerisms and culture, but the truth is then I know very little about it. There are a few old traditions that I remember, but in 100 years I imagine they have changed greatly. I'm sure you will find it. You see him sort of mustering Huxley. Easy to integrate.
Easier than vampire cult.
Perhaps. I admit that there is not much of a plan, but currently this is all we have to go on.
Right.
Was there anything else you needed?
That's when Silas comes back up the stairs and sees Huxley and goes back down.
No, I think this is sufficient.
Then I will find you once more before we sit down. And unless anyone stops him, you see Vidar return and hand back now.
Yeah, Vidar sees Silas going back and forth in the corridor and is just like... seems to be very
He
uneasy.
avoids your path, but does not further acknowledge that you're pacing.
But I was like, I'm not the one under scrutiny from this guy.
If Fred has the mansion up, then yeah, Evelyn would just head off to her room so that she can try and figure out and better understand shifting and just any changes and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anything else anyone does, or do you all head off for a long rest?
Yeah, I think I know.
Mm-hmm.
Then as you settle in for a long rest, let's take a 5-10 minute break. Because I gotta go to the toilet. And I will
Alrighty.
be right back. Rising from a deep but oddly restless slumber. As you awaken, an odd feeling persists in all of you. A shallow unwellness that you can't quite describe. Like a subtle twinge in your back, a raw soreness of your mind. You can't shake the feeling that something hostile is lurking nearby.
I know exactly who it is.
I guess wake up and head out of the magnificent mansion. Try and locate said feeling.
Okay.
No, we had the feeling in the mansion.
No,
Right?
but it can't be just like Evelyn's feeling this as well, correct?
Yeah.
So she's gonna try and. She's assuming it's not just in the mansion; it's something to do with their location. Does she still feel the same thing when she moves out into the deck?
As you exit the magnificent mansion, the feeling only grows more intense. A subtle pressure now weighs on your mind, like the first signs of a migraine. A shallow fatigue that permeates your muscles and bones.
Is Vidar there?
As you step out onto the control deck of the Dart, you do not see Vidar. Do the rest of you follow outside the mansion?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm assuming you're all just outside.
Yep, sure.
Who has turned me blue? Oh, that's a copy. Okay.
That's the simulacrum, yeah.
You did the simulacrum, share your blessing. First of, you'll feel like that sort of uneasy sensation.
Yeah.
Oh, you do too.
Weird.
Yes. Let's check with Vidar.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out the window. Make sure there's nothing, lurking. But they're getting
Right.
dark again. Oh shit!
A figure stands on the deck outside, unmoving as the wind blows gusts of ash back and forth.
What figure? Oh.
You see fluttering in the wind a long mane of black hair. A long overcoat covering most of what appears to be a pale woman's figure.
Sort
That
of like
she might be a vampire is fairly close in your mind. You do see her standing there holding a very large sword.
Surratt was like saying, I'm just gonna check to see if he's on there, and then he like looks out the window and drops down below the window. It's almost sitting down. She's out there. Is there somebody out there?
Who's she?
That's a big sword. I don't know.
Moving by the console, kind of trying to glance around it. I'm assuming from this angle could see the woman.
Yeah, you see her. She is facing towards the window. You can't quite see her eyes at this time.
Silas, could one of you go down and see where Vidar is?
Yeah, sure.
I think that's Vidar's big sister. I bet it is.
I will send the simulacrum to stay with Evelyn and will go downstairs by myself.
Okay. Your simulacrum heads down, finding Vidar similar to the first time Red found him, sitting in front of the navigator on the engine deck of the Dark.
Vidar, we might have a problem. Or at least something weird has happened. There's a person on deck.
For a long moment, you don't see Vidar move at all. Then there is a slight twitching, and he turns, his eyes going up and down the simulacrum. I can tell what has happened. My mind was elsewhere.
Nothing yet. There's a woman on deck.
A woman.
Looks vampirish.
Vidar stands and would follow the simulacrum up, assuming the simulacrum also returns to the deck.
Yeah, it was actually the original that went down, and the simulacrum.
Oh yeah, right.
is still to the
Never
end.
mind.
But yeah, I don't think it matters a lot.
As you head up for a short moment, there is slight opening of a door with Corinne peeking out. What's going on?
Got a visitor on deck.
I am unsure. For now, stay inside. And Vidar follows you up to the top deck. You are indeed correct. There is a woman. Have you spoken with her?
Nope. Her sword's
I'm
bigger
sure
than
you
mine.
figured out this part already, but she is a vampire.
Silas looks at him like, "Oh, what the fuck was this guy smoking?" He's like,
How is Vidar looking?
Roll me an investigation.
Investigation. 16.
He looks largely unchanged. There is a look of surprise on his face. This sort of look of someone who has only recently woken up from a sleep, getting the bearing of their surroundings. But you can also tell that Vidar seems slightly more unkempt than usual.
Do you have any knowledge of who the vampire is, Vidar?
I have never seen them before, but they are old. This persistent feeling.
is it one of those originals?
I think it is their energy. I would not go so far as to say that, but it is obvious that they had training. It is key, but not the regular kind. It feels corrupt.
Great.
Then I suppose we should see what she wants. Everyone will start to make her way over towards the door.
We will follow closely.
Vidar follows to the console, placing one of his hands towards the wheel.
And I'll hit the lever to open the door. When you seem ready.
Yeah, everyone kind of nods to Rhett.
You open the gate, and immediately this wash of wind, ash, and dust flows inward. As the rings of the gates fold backwards and towards the side, slowly opening the way to the outside. She still remains unmoving.
Emlyn will, more boldly than she feels, take several steps out onto the deck, trying to shrug off that, like, sensation.
The further you progress forward, the more you feel sensation. By the time you reach forward towards the deck, you see the vampire hold out her sword, placing it tip down in front of her, almost as if sinking it into your ship, but not quite.
Greetings. This is a surprise to have a visitor this early.
I offer you a warning and a choice to save yourselves more than most ever get. With this ship, you can be free of this continent in a day. You've eyes that see far into dark places. You must leave now and never return, or you'll not receive a warning next.
Thank you for such a generous warning. May we ask the nature of the danger?
Your presence here is danger to yourselves. That is all you need to know. That is all you should need for a choice between life and death.
Simply the words of a stranger? A warning of a stranger? Is all we should need to know with no information?
You know of what house I am. You've seen our signet, heard our name. I am a daughter of the old mothers.
Well, we have certainly heard that you are a house to be revered. We would not want to quarrel with you, and we, again, very much appreciate the warning. I would point out, though, that in some ways our presence here is a choice between life and death for some of those that we care about. So
This is not a conversation. It is a choice.
yes, I think it's just mischaracterized. It's more of a choice between death and death, unfortunately. It was the point I was getting to. Which makes it a bit awkward for us.
Then you've chosen.
I kind of look at like Evelyn as far as like, I don't know. Trying to negotiate, but she's just not interested in talking.
Does she have like any of like the sigils or anything that we've like that we've come to know with any of the families that we can relate to the old mothers?
You don't see any obvious embroidery or signets on her. You do know the sort of the signet of the old mothers. It is the two parallel swords.
I'm not sure what you know of us. Holm Svartvig spoke highly of you, and it would seem that some of us share some interests.
A tree can speak highly of its stem, but it matters not to the stem how it moves in the wind. In this wind you dance around the choice. And I think you have chosen. I am Sister Sieghilde. Mine will be the last name you learn. At which point she pulls her blade closer and to the sun. Go ahead and roll initiative.
I was going to say Evelyn was going to shift into her hybrid form at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's on her turn.
You can do that right as the situation escalates.
Puck has learned that these are situations where he should keep quiet, but he always has like this really revealing expression of like, what stupid things is she talking about? Like just disapproving. And then it becomes like really excited.
You know what that means. Your
Oh,
first
no, I
attack.
have
No,
advantage.
no, no, no,
I
no,
have
no, no, no.
advantage.
Oh, look at that. There's a second die. How lucky.
Mhm.
What's your dex?
Uh,
Pretty sure you're faster than me.
my dex 3.
16?
Yes.
Okay, we're the same.
Alright, roll off.
Does the simulacrum
You
get
must
its
do
own
battle with the dice.
initiative, or
Oh,
does it have my
that's
initiative?
Waste
Okay.
it on this.
You go first.
I feel suddenly far too close.
Does my simulacrum have my initiative or its own?
It depends whether or not you want it to move more independently, or you can have it be right after your turn.
The spell generally says acting on your turn.
Okay, I will do it on my turn then.
It is definitely always the simpler option.
Yeah. Because it's been some time. The simulacrum has like less HP, that's what I remember. But does it have the same abilities than me? Otherwise?
Yes.
Okay.
It has half, isn't it? Half your... Yeah, it's half the hit points maximum.
Yeah. But it did have different weapons, right? We gave it like
does
different
not have
weapons.
any equipment. You have to give it
Mhm.
weapons.
Yeah, we gave it... what did we give it?
We did give it some stuff.
Feel like we gave it a rapier?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember.
I hope. Yeah, I don't.
I know we gave it something. I just don't remember what it had. Oh, I guess.
It was like a rapier and a dagger, I want to say.
Oh, I had a silver dagger.
Yeah, it's got that.
Mm-hmm. Rapier and dagger. Just
Yeah, I
normal
gave
ones?
it my
or-
silver dagger.
I think it was a +1 rapier, but I cannot entirely remember.
Yeah, I feel like it was a +1.
I feel like you might have.
My rapier is no longer on my pawn character sheet, so
I assume that is the one then.
that's probably the one.
Question for you.
Which would be
Rebecca,
+1.
real quick. The armor class of the werewolf is 18. Is that just the armor class for the hybrid, or does my armor affect it at all? I'm fine either way, I just want to know.
That would be
normal
the
AC is
hybrid's
18.
armor, yes.
So it just stays 18.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got it.
Alright. Well then. Acting first, unfortunately, with Evelyn out front.
Oh!
She is going to attack.
That's a weapon.
One strike with her keyblade.
That does not hit.
Followed up by unarmed strikes. As you manage to evade the hit of the blade. Not in top form today, huh?
The 23 and the 32, obviously.
The last roll I'm gonna do at a disadvantage. I don't think it matters.
Actually, I will use shield as a reaction. So the 23 won't hit.
Okay. Can you go ahead and make me a DC 18 dex saving?
That's a failure.
You are prone. Dodging many of the hits from this initial barrage, you suddenly lose footing underneath as a strike sweeps you off your leg. And that is her turn.
No damage?
Oh yeah, you did. Sorry.
Technically, I should reiterate, the 23, I think, is a glancing blow.
In terms of resistances, this is magical damage.
Okay.
And that is 21 points of magical bludgeon. Huxley.
Excited. He has not switched from vampire spells to werewolf spells yet, so he was itching to use this the whole time. He will fly above her and cast Sunbeam on top of her.
Oh my god.
I love it.
So she has to make a, it's DC 16 con save, so. But she has disadvantage if she's undead.
DC 16. Con save. That is a success.
I feel safe. On a success, it takes half as much. Okay, so half the damage. $23.
Mm-hmm.
But it counts as sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's my turn.
Okay. How close did you fly?
I have a fly speed equal to my walk speed, and I can hover, so I would like hover 10 feet above her if I feel like I can keep up with the ship. Otherwise, I guess I would land again.
As soon as you are sort of detached from the ship, you would start moving backwards.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just cast it when I'm above her, and then I land like probably pretty close to her.
Okay.
Or I think, yeah, no, with the 10 feet up, I probably can't get much further.
As a legendary action, she is going to try and grapple you using her key. You see her hand sort of shoot out into your direction. But before her hand even reaches you, there is this grip that you feel. Ox, go ahead and make me an opposing athletics.
Dirty 20? Okay.
Look. Can you go ahead and roll me a DC 22 acrobatics?
That is a 50. Oh, a 14.
Okay. Red, can you also make me this acrobatics check?
Yep.
Oh.
23.
Okay. Red, you manage to sort of half dive out of the way as Huxley just clips you. As Huxley is getting tossed right at you. Huxley, you take 22 points of bludgeoning damage. Red, you take half. Evelyn.
Evelyn will stand up. Then she will use her rapier to attack, but do a medicine check with it for her attack.
Mm-hmm.
That's a natural 20. Plus that turns into. So 33 to hit with the medicine check?
This was your medicine attack, right?
Yeah, this is the
Mm-hmm.
the doctor attack. So
That
would be,
does hit.
this is a silver rapier. It is 2d8 for that. That is 90 points of piercing damage.
Ooh.
Wait, plus the second attack. So I deal twice the damage. That's another 2d8. So 90 plus 4, 94 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, does anyone else have Jess at very low volume? I have her at 200% and can barely hear her.
I've
you're pretty
been
quiet.
having this problem. I don't know what happened recently. Something happened. Let me see what I can mess with it.
Your attack strikes, piercing both cloth, armor, and flesh. And as you stab the vampire, there's this glow of red in her eye.
Ellen kind of lets this kind of feral snarl kind of pass her expression as she pulls back the rapier.
As you pull back, you see this distortion almost, as it feels or seems like her movements seem to speed up
Okay.
as her supernatural speed trigger. All attacks against her have disadvantage, as long as she is not grappled or restrained. Is that your turn?
That is my turn.
Okay. As a legendary action, I need everyone to make a DC 20 intelligence save.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Natural 20 or bust.
A good boss. Fail.
Hmm.
That is a 20. Because I rolled a 19. It'd be different now as normal.
I rolled a 17, and that's a 17.
Okay. Did everyone fail?
Evelyn did not fail. She met
Okay.
the DC.
Oh, I have to roll for the
As
simulacrum.
she twists reality.
It's a natural 20
All
for
of the
the
secrets
simulacrum!
affected witness images of a horrifying nature. What each creature sees is unique to them, as it is dependent on the key within you. You take, those of you who fail, take 15 points of psychic damage. And you fall under the effect of reverse gravity for 1 minute. Those of you who failed, go ahead and roll me an acrobatics check to see if you can hold on to something. As your gravity is inverted and you would start to fall upwards.
Not athletics?
Oh, please
This
make it
would be
acrobatics.
acrobatics to see if you can quickly enough, grab onto something.
Well, I don't think I can.
That's a 16 for me.
It's a 30 for me.
Okay, Silas, you managed to hold on to where the gate usually sinks into the ceiling, just sort of holding onto the lip of the gate's opening. Red, you managed to hold on to the winch that is meant to pull in the chain of the harpoons. But both of you are currently in a somewhat precarious situation. Not as precarious as Huxley, however, as Huxley starts falling into the sky. Silas, it is your turn.
I'm just hanging there, basically, right?
You are hanging there, yeah. There is a platform that you can stand on somewhat nearby. That's the one you're holding on to. The ceiling of the interior of the ship. At least there you could stand.
Yeah, I will stand there and go like a step
Do you
back.
have a climb speed?
Do I have a what?
Climb speed.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Then it would only take you about 5 feet, sort of just pulling yourself up and moving onto the ceiling where you now stand upside down.
Yeah, I use my bonus action to use mark of the slip and just mark her. I'm gonna shoot 3 arrows at her. Mappa. Do I? That doesn't do much. Okay, yeah, then. She does have like the disadvantage thing going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just roll. Okay. Let's roll these stuff. See the bonus. So there's 117 to hit. And a 27 to hit. And a 15 to hit.
The 27 would hit. She's going to use... Go ahead and roll the damage, and she's going to use Reflected Missile.
I'm gonna add a goading attack to it.
Mm-hmm.
So she will have to make a wisdom saving throw.
What is the damage? Before
Oh
that
yeah, the
takes-
damage is because it's additional die and it's mark of the slip. So those. Why is it lagging? It's a decent roll. It's 30 piercing damage.
Okay. See if you can reduce that down to 0 or not. Nope. Your arrow, as it strikes, is somewhat deflected by a strike of her hand, but not entirely, as it still strikes its target. What was that? You said a wisdom save?
Wisdom save of 19.
Disadvantage or anything?
Nope.
That was not supposed to be a 25, that was supposed to be a 15. That makes exactly a 19.
Exactly 19, yeah.
It's like 29, hold on, that's not... It can't be right.
So that's Silas number 1's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Silas number 2 miraculously rolled a natural 20 on his intelligence save, so he can just do things. And he does what a bodyguard does, he just stabs. Or just... No, he just... Yeah, he just runs towards her. And just as he's about to, like, he raises his weapon, and just as he seems to be hitting her, he just disappears. Oh, that's what I didn't mean to. He just disappears and reappears behind her as he slips.
Mm-hmm.
And that should cancel, because now the slip makes it so he has advantage, and the disadvantage so should be normal attacks. So then he just starts slashing. And just, you know, he might as well use an action surge. Just to do some rolling. So there's a 15 that misses, I know that much. Does... so it's just plus 1, right? So that is plus, does a 19 hit?
A 19 does not hit.
Does a 21 hit?
21 does not hit.
Holy shit. And those are out. Does a 23 hit?
23 hits.
And it's 3 hits. Guess that's something.
It is going to be 2 hits because she's going to parry one of those.
2 hits. I will add... We'll add 2 more. He has to make 2 more wisdom saves. Double 23. Oh, I wrote the wrong damage die. Let me just.
Wisdom saves is 21 and 27.
Okay. Rapier is a D8, right? Okay. Gonna roll these 2. Plus 12. That's a 31 piercing damage.
Mm-hmm. Even as the simulacrum strikes from behind, suddenly appearing, with her immensely quickened speed, you see her dodge a number of those strikes, deflect one, even as 2 of the strikes of the simulacrum hit.
And that's its turn.
Using her last legendary action, she is going to make a simple keyblade attack. Against the simulacrum. That is only an 18 to hit.
So, would it have normal leather armor or no armor at all because we didn't give it armor? How does that work?
Technically wouldn't have armor if you didn't give it armor.
Okay. Then the natural armor class, I have no idea how that exactly works. You know, is this like 10 plus dex or something?
I believe
Yeah.
So that would be 15. So I might try to use... Yeah, I'm gonna try and use its reaction
Mm-hmm.
to... I mean, I'm gonna do it, because the reaction can... The duelist defense thingy can give it my proficiency bonus in addition to my armor class, so would raise it to 21 for that attack, because it's a melee attack, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Then the simulacrum manages to avoid the strike. It's been forever since I had to calculate AC with that armor.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Red.
So I'm like hanging upside down from this.
You are hanging upside down, one hand on the bar of one of these windshields.
Absolutely amazing.
Below you is the vast emptiness of, well, the sky.
I'm not overly concerned about that, but I am going to keep hanging on. And I'm going to cast a spell, I guess. I will attempt to cast Power Word Stun.
Mm-hmm.
Does the creature have 150 hit points or fewer?
No.
Ooh, it doesn't do anything then.
Okay.
Stupid Saber Sucks.
They rewrote the Empowered Death. Maybe we should rewrote Empowered Stun as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And I'm gonna double check. Yeah. And then check. Can I do anything for Huxley? Has Huxley fallen away from me yet?
At initiative count 20, so when the turn wraps around, there is going to be some movement.
Huxley can also hover. So I don't know if he would fall.
That's a good point.
The new power word stun says that its speed is 0 until the start of your next turn.
Okay, well, its speed is 0 then.
Okay.
Whatever that helps.
What is your movement speed, Huxley?
40 feet.
Okay.
I get to make an attack. I doubt it. It doesn't hit. Yeah, that's my turn.
Then, even with your movement, Huxley, you would move 20 feet away. With your sort of fall upward, you are currently above the dart. With his action instead of casting a spell, Vidar is going to slow down the ship. And that is his turn. So we wrap around, and it is her turn again. With a bonus action, she is going to shadow step back. The sunlight of the sunbeam does not persist, does it?
Well, she does. Oh wait, actually, unsuccessful. No, I think it's just it happens, and then on my turn I can like use an action to recast it.
Okay. And she is going to shadow step behind the simulacrum for now and make her flurry of attack. First is the Keyblade Strike, and then 3 unarmed attack. Does an 18 hit the simulacrum?
Yeah, it doesn't have any kind of reaction left, so it just has a 15 now as a armor class.
The first strike is 48 magical slashing damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then 21 magical bludgeoning. 16 magical bludgeoning. And 25 magical bludgeoning.
The simulacrum is dead!
Okay, then it does not need to make a save. As the flurry strikes the simulacrum in the back, it shatters into shards of ice and is gone.
You fool, you've activated.
Cheap copies will not save you. And that is her turn. Huxley.
So like the door is like here, right? So there's a ceiling here. So can I like fly, and then make sure that the wall is behind my back, of kind of like the ceiling.
You would still be falling upwards unless you stand on the ceiling like Silas.
Right, but even if I hover, because I wouldn't fall.
If you hover, then no, you could be back to the wall, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that. And then did it seem like the sunlight, like she seemed particularly not liking the sunlight?
It didn't seem to be any more effective than other attacks so far.
Well, that's rude. I'll still recast it as my action. So that's another con save.
Mm-hmm. And save.
Very hard for her to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Where's 60 damage this time?
Okay.
Yeah, that's my turn.
Quickly look up Bell. Evelyn,
Yeah.
as a legendary action, she's gonna cast a spell.
Okay. I can't do anything about that.
I'm just waiting to give.
Yeah,
I'm just
counterspell it.
okay. Okay, sure.
Just at 3rd level though. I need to
Right.
roll off.
You counterspell. The spell failed. And that is the legendary action gone. Evelyn, it's your turn.
Evelyn is gonna go ahead and raise her hand with the shock generator on it and kind of like toss, like make a tossing action over to her as she casts lightning bolt, and lightning kind of shoots out from it. That is a Dex save DC is 19. Sorry, it is 20. I don't know. I think it's 20.
It turns 33.
Yeah. Okay, so that's half damage.
And
still.
as you see her turn, you
Uh-huh.
realize that she has evasion.
So no half
Okay.
damage.
Taking no damage at all as she fully evades the lightning.
Okay.
Oh.
Then Evelyn will move forward and just attack with her rapier. That's disadvantage, right?
Yes.
That's gonna miss.
Okay. She dodges both of your attacks. And you see this infuriatingly small smirk just in the corner of her mouth. As we move on to Silas.
Inside, Silas is like, God damn it, Evelyn. I can't protect you when you're walking forward instead of back here. And
She's not as smart right now. I'm sorry.
it's gonna move a little bit further inside and just continues shooting at her. Doesn't really have much else he can do.
Mm-hmm.
At disadvantage. So 2 are already missing. Guess I can still re-roll them. Oh, and the last one is at least a 24 to hit. But these 2 I guess I'll re-roll them anyway in case they are like critical fails or something. They aren't. Okay, so 1 hit, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll the damage.
Right, I'm also gonna make another goad attack. That is a +7, that is a 25.
Okay. Defeat reach. Oof. As you fire that arrow, Evelyn, you see it best up close. You see her grab the arrow, turn, twist its path, and throw it back. Silas, you take 10 points of force damage from your own arrow and are pushed 30 feet back.
How far pushback? Okay, you're doing it. Good.
Pretty much up until the wall.
Oh, that's fine. Still have movement left. I still walk a little bit forward again.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we can play a little bit more tennis, so I'm gonna use an action surge and shoot 3 more times.
Oh.
Okay. This one definitely misses. It's also not a natural one, so 17 and 18. That is
You just
horrible.
had to say it.
Yeah, all of them miss.
What was the 9? What does it come out to?
No, it was an 8, wasn't it? Was it a 9? Even
I thought it was
an
like
8 would be a 21.
Okay. You shoot another barrage of arrows with the wind pushing in, and how fast she's moving, it is difficult enough to hit. Even though she doesn't try to grab any further arrows, she evades all of them. One of your arrows, unfortunately, straying from its path, lodges into the lever mechanism of the gate. For now, until the arrow is removed, you cannot close the gate.
It's fine. We haven't invited her anyway. She can't go in here, right?
Oh no.
That's my turn.
As
That's what we
a
call this place our
legendary
iron home.
action, she is going to use
Silver.
her second wind.
She's a monk fighter. But also can do
Mighty.
magic.
Wow, already took so much damage, so she has to take a second wind. Clearly extremely weak.
Red, it's your turn.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I just don't have good options, man.
Same.
I do have a broom and I can fly. Regardless of gravity. I think I'm just gonna come over here and like.
If you miss, you could just shoot Vidar.
No, I'm gonna turn
Or
it
April.
to. Yeah, I am at disadvantage. It's got a plus 15. I'm gonna roll it. Let's see what happens. Four plus 15 is not enough. It's 19. Bummer.
Let's
So-
see at the angle. This is fine.
Yeah.
You fire the cannon, and there's this beam of light as she again moves out of the way with her unnatural speed, leaving this massive scorch mark at the very edge and sort of at the corner of that wall,
Yeah.
where the metal
Trying to
is
be-
almost glowing hot from the beam of radiant light.
Let's see what. Oops.
Moving out of the way, she does turn to you. Poise.
I'm going to give Evelyn a bardic inspiration. You're the one your back's turned. I'm a distraction. No, wait. I just sold it.
With a
It's my turn.
legendary action, can you go ahead and... Actually, I don't think you can make it. I'll post athletic. Or acrobatic. Against a plus 25.
I
you make
might
it?
be able to make an
Okay.
acrobatics. It's technically possible.
Go ahead.
Not likely, but... Yeah, no.
Then grappling you at a distance with her key. She is going to toss you. Can you give me a acrobatics?
23.
Okay. You remain holding onto and seated onto your room as you are tossed to the side into the ship's winds. And that makes it Vidar's turn, who is going to move just a little bit back. Touch Soleil on the hand, almost like he's petting him. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. And cast Fly on you. Go.
I do have winged boots. I do have a flying speed anyway. I don't know if that
He doesn't know that. He's
very
just gonna cast
necessary.
Fly.
It's okay.
Fly's pretty good
Wow.
speed.
Yeah.
You
the
have
speed.
a fly speed
Yeah.
of 60 and
Yeah,
you
okay.
can hover.
Neato.
And that is his turn. Top of initiative. It's hers.
Should we just
Evelyn.
open this?
think right now there is only one target. It's the cannon. I'm kidding. She is going to make one Keyblade attack. Why is the Keyblade always so bad? What the fuck?
Miss.
She is going
fight
to
this gnome.
use her reaction to riposte. As she misses a melee attack, she's going to use her reaction to remake that attack.
Okay, that is.
Adding some dice to the damage roll. Oh, that's a bad one. That is 45 points of magical slashing damage.
Okay.
And then she's going to follow up with her unarmed strike.
Yeah. Actually, on the first one, reaction to cast shield, AC is currently 25.
Okay. And as a barrage of strikes head your way, they all crack and pound against the shield. And that is her turn. Which means it is Huxley's.
Yeah, okay. Huxley gives up with the spells. He just wanted to be cool.
I'm sorry, it was very cool.
He's very cool.
I mean, he is like amazed by Evelyn. It's like, wow, you're so cool, Evelyn! He will fly forward because he can't just leave her alone over there.
Yeah. You be quiet, Silas.
We're Dons.
I was gonna make a fox joke, but yeah, there's a cat right there. What the fuck?
And he's going to attack twice. Not with Great Weapon Master. So first one is a 33.
Yeah, that lives.
And second one, of course, this is when I rolled really well. Second one also hits. Yeah.
Oh,
my
meow.
gosh. Her heart melts. She dies.
That's okay. Then wait, that's 1d10 plus 10. Twice. Because I'm using the cool vampire scythe.
Oh god, yeah.
So that's 19 and 15 damage. Oh, first, as my bonus action, I will rage before I do that. And wait, that's so as I rage, also I teleport. So I guess I rage and then I teleport right behind her, and then I hit her twice.
And you say nothing was not kid, and then meow. Okay, even as she turns to try to parry your first blow, both of your strikes go through, dealing a good amount of damage.
Oh, I was gonna ask actually. I'm not attuned to the scythe, but it still gives me the +2. Does it still give me the advantage on saving throws? Because it just says while holding the scythe, you have advantage on saving throws. Or is everything else kind of dependent on being attuned to it?
I feel like that is part of the effects that you'd have to be attuned for.
Yeah, okay.
I believe that's how it works.
Then that's my turn.
I realize you were not attuned yet. Okay.
No, I don't have the spots to attune to it.
Ah, the eternal pain. The great equalizer. No, kidding. All right. And that is your turn. Let's see. He's going to try and make a strike at you with her legendary. That is a 27 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. And is 39 points of magical slashing. And then it is Evelyn's turn.
If I shift slightly this way, would that give me flanking? To negate the disadvantage?
Given her current speed.
Speed? Okay, that's fine. I was just curious.
No.
Okay.
Actually, no, yes. Her speed still makes it like a regular attack, so it should.
Okay, so
You should
flanking
be
would
flat. Yeah.
work? Okay. Then Evelyn's gonna kind of stow her rapier, is kind of infuriated for a moment, and like the claws kind of go a bit more, and she's gonna slash twice at this woman. So that is a plus 11.
I'm sorry, I don't get tagged.
25 and a 23.
25 and 23 hit. Without any current reaction, she's not gonna parry, so both of those hit.
Alright, so that's the first one is this is considered magical for my claws.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 20 slashing, and then another one would be 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. So together, that's 35 between the two attacks.
Okay.
And then Evelyn's going to move to bite at her as well. That's
She's gonna turn into a werewolf.
that's
Were-vampire.
13 plus
Thought you said no
11.
biting.
That's 24
To hit?
to hit, yeah.
That hits.
And then 2d12. As she kind of like pounces towards her back as she was facing the other way. That's 21 plus 6. So 27 points of piercing. Technically, it needs a DC 14 con saving throw if they're humanoid.
Or be cursed with lycanthropy. I don't think that's how that works.
Listen, I can certainly try. And so Evan kind of like leaps at her, kind of taking a chunk, like a bite into her shoulder before pulling back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Evelyn's turn.
Okay.
Wait, I forgot. I also heal. There we go.
Can you go ahead and roll me athletics or acrobatics?
Yeah. Athletics or acrobatics. 18.
All right.
Pure plus 25 on
Okay.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Oh, yeah. This is scary vampire lady.
Wow.
She's like ancient. Made us all feel unnerved.
Jeez.
She is going to grab you again with her key and toss you. Just sort of grabbing you by the neck after you bite.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you, Huxley muttered under her breath, you just hear, mutt.
I kind of like
As
her.
Evelyn is tossed over the side. I believe without a fly sweep.
I have my fly sweep though.
Oh, yeah. But no Hobart. Okay, and that is her turn as Evelyn's turn. Well, her legendary action, I mean. Silas.
Gonna fly over there. I'm gonna punch her in the face. Also, I'm just gonna yell to Huxley. Try and keep her in place. Then maybe we can strike her down more easily. As he tries to strike her down.
She's really strong.
I believe in you. It's so laggy.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
It's not as laggy for me, so it's probably
so 17 misses.
multitude of problems.
18 misses. That's a good one. That's a 22 to hit. And a 23 to hit.
22 and 23 both hit.
God damn it, I can't place the dice where they belong. Okay. So 2 of them hit. Okay. So it's these 2.
And the AC to her token.
Okay, I'm gonna make 1 distracting strike and 1 goading attack in addition.
Mm-hmm. Wisdom saves?
The goading attack is a wisdom, and the other one... or distracting is just happening. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
The next roll against the target by an attacker other than me has advantage. If the attack is made before the start of my next turn.
You mean disadvantage, right?
Advantage. Someone from our team attacks her. It has advantage.
I see. Sorry. I thought it was
those are
from
pretty
her attack.
bad damage rolls. At least there's one
I see
double
2
in
ones
there.
there. What the
There's
fuck?
one double. Oh, no, the double is it's the mark of the slip, so that doesn't count as a double. Okay, then that's just not that much damage, I guess.
Doubles on all the wrong numbers.
Yeah, so it's
Literally all of the wrong numbers.
yes,
are doubles.
yes.
What the
I
fuck?
know. I know. It's still at least
happened.
it's 39 damage, so that's something.
It's not bad.
It's basically what she
And
healed.
she's gonna... If that is your turn.
That were my attacks. I used my bonus. Yes, that's my turn then. Yeah.
Return the favor. 21 to hit.
Use my
Does that hit?
defensive duelist. Oh, it has a first of all, it has disadvantage on me because of my armor.
Oh, I see.
Okay. And then I'm gonna use my defensive duelist feature to evade her attack.
Okay, then she's gonna use her riposte to try again.
Isn't riposte when I miss an attack, or how does it work again?
No, but she misses.
When she misses an attack, I have to reread my own riposte. Or it's
That's a different
probably a
riposte.
different one. Okay.
Yeah,
That's an interesting riposte.
so it's more of a feint riposte,
Yeah.
I suppose. This 25 was below your increase? Is it?
The increase is just for one attack, so it definitely hits.
Okay. And that is Keyblade Strike. That is 42 magical slashing damage. And she is appearing relatively wounded after your series of attacks. Which means red. Your turn.
I'm so scared. I'm so sorry if this misses.
Oh my god.
Oh,
It's do I have advantage from what you just did?
It would be a
Silas?
straight roll, I guess.
Okay, straight roll.
nice.
28.
That'll hit. Alright, yeah. roll damage.
47 radiant. Right in our
47.
back. Yes, 47.
You gave us these cannons, you have to expect us to use them.
I
Never
built this
expected
for
us
I
a
to
didn't
point
reason.
it on
expect
our
you to
own
hit
ship.
it perfectly. What the fuck?
Square 47 exactly.
Oh boy.
You blast a beam of light of radiant energy right at her back. And there's this
Straight to the
moment,
heart.
Silas, where you see light coming through, giving you enough time to dodge as there's this little flicker of this radiant blast that emerges from the hole burned through her chest. As she falls apart, crumbling to dust.
You're
And
the one
you
that
are-
won't learn any more names.
Out of initiative.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean Silas will go over there and be like, pretty pathetic for such an old one. More like Niederlagelinde, not Sieglinde.
All right. Okay.
Wow.
Also, I need that rapier back. I'll pick up my rapier.
Yeah, it's on the ground there. Bro.
Everyone
could
will
have
dash
talked
to
to
get
us.
back on the ship.
She was on
Then-
263 damage.
Everyone alright?
So I was perfectly to 310.
Nice.
Christ.
I held the trigger just the right amount of time.
Is everyone doing alright? I mean, except for my
I
other
think
me.
we're alright. Are we alright?
Right.
Evelyn just keeps healing, I realized. She just
Yeah.
heals.
Yeah.
This is so good.
Yeah, and we'll wait to fully heal before dropping her hybrid form.
I will just move
Ah,
away from her towards Huxley, so I don't have to smell her that badly, so...
What was that about?
What?
It's odd.
Well, I mean, like, I'm gonna warn you.
It would appear we've gotten an answer to our question whether or not the mothers would stand in our way.
Apparently. Did she drop anything? Does she have any notes?
She did not. You
Is
look
her
at
weapon
the
still there?
pile of dust.
I was gonna try and collect some dust real fast.
Okay. Ellen collects some vampire dust.
Thank you.
Evelyn, you were so cool. You should stay a werewolf forever.
Well,
Hux,
right
shut
now
up.
it's working. It's a bit more difficult to stay focused in combat.
You don't have to focus. You just have to hit.
I mean, I will say I appreciate you taking a bite out of a vampire, like rubbing his shoulder after they took bites. I'm just saying. That was pretty cool.
As
I
problematic as that encounter seemed, it would appear that at least some of our preparations are paying off.
Yeah.
Given the nature of the old mothers and their daughters, I do not think there is much keeping them from reaching us any time.
I mean, the ship being made out of silver alloy helps. Probably.
Oh, like so much
Does the
vampire dust.
ship out of silver alloy bother Evelyn, by the way?
It's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
It's silver in color. It's
Okay.
not
I just
actually
want to make
silver.
sure it wasn't actually silver. I
It's
didn't think so.
technically it is this the metal from
Right.
the plane of air mixed with
Right.
mithril. The mithril is mostly the part giving it its color.
No.
Perfect. Thank you.
By the way, there was a moment in this fight where I was very short before calling for wind just to open this this hatch here. and
Almost did it.
just-
Mhm.
yeah.
But I
Just
kept
for
looking. I was
fun.
like, well, Evelyn's doing fine.
Also-
because she keeps healing.
Yeah. Also, it would have been a problem if wind had like the freaking gravity turned on him, and he would be like, "Wee!"
Yeah.
and then just wind
Yeah.
is just gone. It would have been. That would
I
have sucked.
also wasn't entirely positive how like
Did go smash
in this
to the ship.
space.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to damage the ship when attacking
Yeah.
an enemy, so Evelyn did not ask for Vint to come out in case the ship was damaged. She wasn't thinking one of their own allies would try and shoot a cannon at the ship.
Twice.
I think Vidar would have absorbed it fine before it got to the ship.
I mean, Vidar held back and did nothing at all, so he probably would have been able to take it.
Yeah.
He took this time I took all of his turns.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He was slowing the ship down, keeping his
Yeah, he cast flying on someone who had flying.
Alright. You didn't know
faster
that.
flying. Faster flying.
Yeah, okay.
Wow, he travels with us every day
Maybe
and
he
hasn't
did it
even
because he
checked
just
in.
saw you glued to the ceiling, alright?
Maybe he was wondering why you were doing range attacks.
Yeah.
Maybe
Like,
he just
alright.
wanted to touch my very, very nice fur. Well-kept fur.
Oh.
He just was looking for a reason to do that for months now.
Evelyn will drop the high red form once she's fully healed. And tuck away the dust that she collected.
Huh. Well.
Silas has this little bottle of ethanol now at his belt all the time, and he just takes it out for a moment and sniffs it and puts it back.
Like vapors.
Yeah.
One thing is for certain. The old mothers will not forget this one.
They started it.
They did. There was never avoiding this confrontation, I suppose. They were always going to give us the choice, and we were always going to not give in.
Yes.
Not unless we had the boltsman secured in our hold.
Yeah, unfortunate though.
I am worried, somewhat. If our superficial search for answers has drawn their ire, there is no doubt that they would be after Boltzmann as well. He is
Yeah.
clever, subtle. I can only hope that he avoided their gaze somewhat. Boltzmann's
Well.
biggest issue has always been that he works alone.
All the more reason to redouble our search.
We should head back inside. I will increase our speed. We should hurry to our next destination.
I don't mean to be rude, but how do you keep a lookout for, like, the tower or whatnot if we're
Augury.
inside? Ah, that makes sense. Thanks.
You'll note that there are no windows at the bottom of the ship.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
As you all return inside, you see Vidar fishing out an arrow out of the lever mechanism before slowly activating it. See if it still functions. And it does. And the gate closes once more.
Lynn sort of walks back in, sort of like absentmindedly, like picking at her teeth, like vaguely disturbed expression on her face. But other than that, is the Magnificent Mansion, is that still up, or is that goes away after?
It is not currently.
Yeah. Okay.
I can put it up.
No, good.
Well, no, it's 24 out. Yeah, I guess it would still be up. Assuming it's not evening again. Yeah.
It was because this was first thing waking up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Any thoughts about how far away we might be from any planned destination?
Unless we happen to stumble across a certain tower, there are a few more hours of flight left. I can see the mountain rounding, so we should be close to reaching its north side.
All right.
So, as a few more hours of flight pass through these thick, unpierceable clouds of air, what is it that you guys do?
Take a short rest.
Mm-hmm. You have
I guess so.
enough time for several, theoretically.
Yeah. Guess one is enough.
And then we'll kind of linger around on the main deck, kind of observing and.
Huxley will try to convince Evelyn to train with him and Silas.
I think I've already done more than enough early morning exertion.
Oh, we can wait until after lunch.
No, I'll pass for now, but I appreciate the offer. Maybe another time.
I'm trying to think, are there any defenses we should try to raise?
can't make anything. I guess we'll just
Could you like
cross
imbue
things.
magic into the cannon so it shoots itself? Just searches for available targets and then just aims at them and shoots.
Would be
Wait,
Put
Yes.
laser beams on the deck.
Yes.
That burns everyone's feet.
Everyone but us.
Yeah. Well, we all know that's there.
I mean,
I hope
you
it knows
could
that we're
command
there.
Wind to do it.
Oh, what? Yeah.
We'll just drill holes into the floor, and then Wind can
The
like stand
hands.
underneath and poke his fingers.
Oh,
But are you
Wow.
have thoughts about what Corinne is going to do once we land?
We will do our best to hind the ship. Corinne will stay aboard. It will
Then
mean
I-
that she can contact us in pinch, but I am considering adding additional layers of security somehow. Do you have a suggestion?
I could leave Vint behind as well and instruct her briefly on his abilities and how to command him.
That is perhaps prudent, given the nature of our expedition. If we reach the city first, it would probably be best not to reveal Wind quickly.
Makes sense.
Possibly see if there's a way to have the ship briefly emit some form of electrical charge on the outer shell, at least while it's landed.
The outer shell is connected to the inside at many points. There is no layer of isolation between the two. Electrocuting its shell would electrocute the inside as well, at least to a degree. Should there be an extreme emergency, the ship can fly. Barring an influence of light, its capacity for speed is incredible.
Oh, you know, I did find some pretty interesting notes on a modified forbidden spell that would let it move. Wonder if we could attach something like that to the ship.
Forbiddance is an option. It does not even need to be a moving target. When the ship is grounded and idle, it would at least prevent a sudden appearance of any hostiles.
Yeah. Would you be willing to work with me on that, Evelyn? I'm not the best at rituals when we have notes, but it's not particularly exactly my forte.
I could assist you in that.
can't you create your mansion around the ship?
No.
Look, I as a
No,
player know that, but
no,
Soleil
no, I could not.
asks silly questions.
I could. No, that's not a good idea. Never mind.
Oh, now I'm curious.
Perhaps I should ask Orveth to work on a tiny hanger spell.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be Orvaith? Is he like a specialist in this kind of things?
His work was instrumental to creating the Arcanus plane. He's always been an expert at spatial reconfigurations. If you remember his handy storage, flick of the wrist, demiplane attached to every single of his digits.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive.
When I think of Orvaith, I remember the biggest dog I've ever seen. Like, Tarask-like dog. Why does it always have to be dogs?
Yeah, you're right. To be fair, like, any type of big cat is way more intimidating than a dog.
Yeah. Way better hunters too.
He doesn't say it out loud, but you hear Vidar sort of whisper, "Man's best friend."
Sheesh. So I guess I'll spend the next few hours with Evelyn, trying to figure out this forbidden spell thing. I don't know.
Okay. You try to work out a moving forbidden. Let me check some things on that.
Presumably with something as big as the ship, it might be easier in that we could inscribe large runes too. But I don't know.
Can both of you give me an Arcana check?
Is this something?
Or
I can
one of
give-
you can do it with advantage.
Is this something I can give Evelyn inspiration on?
Yes.
Then let's have you do that with
Okay.
Bardic Inspiration.
Is it with inspiration or not? Sorry, is it with advantage or not with inspiration? Advantage with inspiration.
It's still at advantage with
Okay.
inspiration.
Alright. Let's see. And this time?
12.
7. So, yeah, that is a. Plus Arcana. 26.
You fairly quickly work out the difference of modifications between the familiar forbiddens and this moving version of it. But as much as you work out how the spell functions, there is unfortunately the remaining problem that it is inherently a spell using divine energy. A spell that would be normally cast by cleric. You could, with enough preparation and by overcasting, cast this spell. Similarly, you could try and transcribe it into a spell scroll, which unfortunately would cost you just about the same in overcasting. But at least would enable you to choose when to activate that spell. But other than those hurdles, you have the spell worked out.
Would be easier if someone was able to cast it.
Yeah. I think it's possible. I just don't know if it's prudent to do that at this point.
The last time we messed with magics of this sort of level, it does sort of weaken you a bit.
Yeah.
And that might not be the best scenario that we go into this potential village or city with.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I guess we'll keep it in mind if we need to, for example, make an escape on the ship and need to keep him off us.
At least we know how to.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you right now, though, that it's not worth the risk, given that our defense is so far upheld.
Right. Well, we'll tuck this away for later. Maybe there's some other means that we'll come across eventually that allow us to better transcribe it. We'll keep that in mind as we move forward and use it for now in an emergency situation. But you're right, I don't think there's anything we can really do with it right now, and our defenses have held up significantly.
Sounds good.
After that, Evan would probably hunt down Corinne to try and explain to her how to instruct Vind and all of those kind of things, how to use him with his defenses if need be. But obviously that's after hours worth of working on this forbidden spell.
Mm-hmm. And Huxley and Silas, is there anything you do during these few hours? Aside from resting?
Huxley will ask Silas for some paper and will then draw his own plans for a security system involving ropes, play, and simple explosives.
Yeah, I'm gonna rip out one page of my notebook and give it to Hux.
He puts a lot of thought into it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna draw, in the meantime, draw a picture of Niederlage Linde. Or whatever her name was. Like, was it Sieglinde or Sieg, what was it?
Sieghilde.
Sieghilde. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna draw a picture of her. While she's being stabbed by Ablin. Ablin is gonna be in her normal, very normal form. Yes, I was about to say that. Not gonna draw dogs in here. It was your heaviest hit, right? The heavy damage with your dagger, right?
That was a nat 20.
That was nothing a dog could have done, so...
Alright.
That was not her claw attacks or her bite. That was using her rapier.
There we go.
Technically, it was a smidge less. It would have been a higher medicine check to hit if her intelligence wasn't down being a dog, as you put it.
As about 6 hours pass, as noon comes and goes, and as evening already draws near, as you finished with the understanding of the forbidden spell, where would you be?
Probably. Well, we would have done that in the Magnificent Mansion? Or.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Evelyn, as she finished the forbidden spell, probably getting ready to leave and go look for Corinne.
I'm kind of assuming we're gonna like walk in not during the middle of the night, so I don't know. The Magnificent Mansion basically drops at like 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So you just tell me, like once I'm done with the forbidden, I'm gonna step out as well and just kind of check on the ship and walk around, see where we're at.
Okay, then as Red and Evelyn would be walking around, perhaps to put up the mansion as evening does roll around.
Yeah, like I'll ask Vidar, are we planning to stay on the Vidar tonight or?
We are within reach now. I did find your tower.
Oh.
But therein lies a problem. It is close to the city. There is an encampment around it. This means that there is likely some form of interaction between the Lycans and the tower. From the barricades I could see, not a friendly one.
Okay.
But that does mean our order of business might need to be reevaluated.
Yeah.
Once we go for the tower, I'm not sure if we can remain hidden.
Yeah, not unless we're very careful.
That has worked out for us anyway, right?
Yeah.
It is significantly changed. As far as I could tell, it could be the old astrology tower. That would mean divination.
Divination, that would be art mage. A demi-mage, what was their names? Hoping that somebody jumps in here.
I am totally not searching to look it up because I may have also forgotten.
The good part about playing someone like Silas, he wouldn't know anyway, so why would I know?
I don't think we like interacted with them that much, if at all.
I mean, he would know anyone, even the ones we have interacted with, probably.
Yeah, you're like, what tower? Right,
Yeah.
your memory of that got removed entirely.
I mean, I've heard astrology. I know what that is. I just don't care about it. Which tower it is. It's just some mages that are gonna run away and we have to run after them and then... Right, Hux? They're gonna run away anyway. Those are wizards.
Exactly. If they're wizards, you know what they're gonna do.
I'm only trying to consider if I remember them, if it's worth considering contacting them in some way?
On what?
Contacting them? Like sending
I guess it's only fair to warn them.
that you're coming? This is a warning. There's a creature named Huxley.
I would refrain from revealing ourselves just yet.
Yeah.
Especially if there are higher wizards of the divination school involved. Once we reveal ourselves, we will remain revealed.
That's an excellent
I mean, if
point.
they're good at divination, wouldn't they know we're coming anyway?
They may sense our presence. That does not mean that they will recognize what we are there to do. Especially if at first we only interact with the city.
Yeah.
Unless it is under their control by now, we should have some cards to play against them from within.
So this is do you think we're gonna be at odds with them? The wizards? Maybe this is a question for you and for Corinne more. She would know a little bit more about them, probably.
Given what we have experienced so far, the silver appears to have such an effect on these wizards
Right.
that makes them less than sociable.
Yeah.
I think it would take great strength to resist such a draw. And I'm not sure if we would find it in the ruins of these towers. I will always hold out hope that such a case does occur, but I will not hedge my bets on it.
That's fair. So how do we approach the city then? So you're suggesting approaching the city first and trying to stay away from it?
I would suggest we infiltrate the city, find out what we can, with urgency. Not that this was not the case before. But now we also have to contend with eyes around every corner, if you catch my drift. Even when you are not being watched. Imagine you are. Move carefully and quickly. It would not be entirely unreasonable to devise a certain strategy before we land. You are more familiar with I'm trying to find a way not to say this in a way that would upset you. Lower circles of people. I assume we will find little in the ways of high lords and aristocracy in the Lycan town.
Hux will mutter under his breath, "Oh, like earth elementals."
As far as how to draw information out of people, where would you start?
Not to be rude, but if I remember anything about the Lycans, they seem to like their community meals. There's probably some big like feast houses or something. And if Boltzmann's following his MO, he might be trying to distill blood. So asking about disappearances?
He has to look for a particular sort of blood.
Right.
Not just any blood. You're talking about something closer to the original lineage.
Yeah.
If it helps your endeavor, this is what I could glean from the cities outside. You see Vidar ritually cast an illusion spell, projecting an image into the air. I have to admit, the last time I had met any Lycans, it was largely huts, caves, and tents, much more tribal than they are now. But it is not unusual. A few hundred years will change a society. This means that much of my previous knowledge likely does not matter.
I wonder if it's. I mean, that's a pretty impressive architecture. A few places.
It is a normal town, I would say. You notice a slight twinge of disdain in his voice.
Well, it's certainly not matching up to the architecture of Polythreme.
How does this compare to Antark?
I'm assuming you're asking out of character.
Yeah.
Antark is much more flat in its structures. It's about the same level of engineering, but Antark doesn't really build very high walls or up the slope of a mountain, since it's all flat plains, essentially.
Okay, but since he dissed this architecture, I'm gonna shoot glances at Vidar. Because he basically dissed Antark.
What's if
What?
you were traveling and someone asked you where you came from? What would you say?
From far, far away.
If someone asked you, like, where your home tribe was from? Frey's not
like?
here. Frey's ignoring me.
Where's Dad?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I was distracted by my cat. She's really
Oh,
cute.
that's right.
that's a good distraction to have.
That's a good answer.
Fair. No, Hux, if someone asked you where you're from, where your tribe is from, what would you be inclined to say?
Polythreme?
Are we
I
your
guess.
tribe?
Yeah.
The what? I'm sorry, the what tribe?
He asked if we were Hux's tribe. As Hux would say Polythreme. Right, but if you can't say Polythreme because no one would know what Polythreme was, what would you say instead?
The Skullcrackers.
Big city.
Fair.
And there's a house, but usually we live in the airship.
Right. And if you wanted to have a conversation and find out if anybody else had been traveling through recently, where would you go look for that?
Like here?
Where would you go here? If you look at this, would you go to the tallest building? Would you find someone in the street? Who would you ask?
Ask if they've been to Polythreme.
If you were looking for someone who wasn't a local, and we're looking for the wizard, but maybe we're just trying to ask around to see if anybody had seen anyone that was not from the area, and you were trying to find information on that person, where would you be inclined to go?
Well, I guess a tavern.
A tavern.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A feast hall or something, right?
If they're really if they're standing out, I can also cast locate creature.
Fair, but you have to know what that person is. But say you just only knew a little bit about them. Like if you knew they were a wizard, that would only let you find other wizards, right?
Yeah.
Right. So probably a tavern or a feast hall of some sort.
Yeah. There's lots of people. But I haven't really talked too much to people much. They usually don't like talking to me. I tell them about my mushroom collection and then they walk away.
I would encourage you to talk to people while we're here. Perhaps though, don't mention Polythreme or Boltzmann by name, just that we're looking for someone that's been traveling as well. Other than that, don't mention that not everyone here is not actually a werewolf or lycanthrope of some sort. And generally, I'm sure you'll fit in fine with the rest.
Don't talk about Polythreme, and don't talk about Boltzmann,
and don't talk about our ship.
The ship, and don't talk about that we're not werewolves.
Correct.
But do talk
everything
about
else
frogs.
By all means. Yes.
Oh, mushrooms.
Mushrooms are great. You can talk about your pets as well.
You can probably talk about how
fine.
much you hate wizards. That'd probably go over pretty well.
Yeah. And how awesome werewolves are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Can I talk about dragons?
Yes.
What about vampires?
Probably.
Can I tell them that I know an awesome werewolf that killed a vampire?
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk good about vampires necessarily. But you don't necessarily have to go out of your way to talk bad about vampires.
What like who are we gonna be? Like if somebody asks us where we're from?
I'm not positive we have enough information to know about the area currently. to be able to name any place. So we are better off saying that we're from a smaller tribe that travels around of some sort.
Okay. What? Should we have
Or
a tribe name? Like a.
Before they settled into larger settlements, there used to be plenty of nomadic Lycan tribes. It is not too unrealistic that some of them have kept their nomadic nature.
right.
These tribes have names of a certain kind that we could mimic.
They have
Yeah.
many names, and I would not try to impersonate any one of them without knowing the meaning behind those names.
No, I think we just want to like come up with our own name that's kind of like in a similar pattern.
They are
Those
as
silences.
varied as objects. Sometimes they name themselves after creatures that they hunt. Sometimes they carry a name translated from ancient times. There is not one theme that I could
That's
tell
good.
you a tribe has.
That's perfect.
Hux, if you
So
had
Huxley,
to name
yeah.
Hux, if you could name a tribe, anything you'd like, what would you name it?
A cool tribe.
The dragon.
Okay. Expand on that. Make it like
Nine.
dragon plus something.
The were dragon.
That is certainly an ambitious name. It projects a lot of outwards, well, a lot of self-confidence in your own strength.
The were dragon. The bane of all mages. Who kill vampires.
That perhaps is a sentence and not a name.
What's different?
It's probably fitting. It probably works.
Maybe we could go with like, you know, something a little shorter for short though. You could maybe shorten it. That's the official title, but like, can you?
Were dragons.
Okay. Well. Maybe just like the dragon tooth or the dragon fang, or I don't know, something like an attribute. I don't know. Like were dragon just sounds really. I mean, maybe it is obvious. Maybe we should just go with it. I don't know.
I would say that something like Dragon Fang or Dragon Tooth is a more common sort of name. There are plenty of drakes and wyverns living across the mountain.
Dragon's chosen. I don't know. Huxley, you gotta pick something a little bit better than were dragon.
Dragon. Cats. Dragon. Dragon fangs. Like
Whatever name you choose, you are the ones who will carry it.
Dragon fangs.
Dragon fangs, alright.
Right. There are disadvantages and advantages to moving together as a group.
And it's perfectly fine if we split up, but at least if need be, if we say dragon things, then we'll at least have a general idea of association if it's needed.
Yeah.
Vidar, do you anticipate exploring out on your own or with us?
Not necessarily. I do not yet have a grasp on what level of arcane measures the lycanthropes have developed. As such, it would be dangerous for me to move in ways that I would usually do.
Fair enough.
For now, we will stick together then, if that is your choice.
It'll probably be easier initially as we get a gauge on things. I'll see if I can find some of my attire that's more simple.
I need to help with bedtime for like 5 minutes. I don't know where we are in time. But we'll be back in 5 minutes.
You going now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's officially.
Yeah.
But I'll be right back. Sorry.
Also, just as a general question, like, how well known are tabaxi in these lands? Like, will I be the center of attention, or will nobody care?
Exceedingly rare.
That's what I feared.
How do you feel about dressing up in dog fur?
You know, the good thing about this is you are teasing me so regularly that by now it just doesn't faze me anymore. I'm just kidding. It does faze me. Why would you say that?
I could probably bite you. And Evelyn has like the slightest smirk on her face as she's
Now
frying
even
the
you!
pan.
You are the only one!
It's not necessarily a terrible idea. I believe it should actually give you the curse, which should be able to be lifted down the line using proper magics, but then you would probably keep some of your normal attributes and
There are so many shoulds and woulds in this sentence that I really am not comfortable doing this.
If you do turn anyone, keep in mind that it is difficult to lift the blood curses if you linger in them too long.
Also fair.
I'd rather try and stay hidden, like Red could make me invisible and
Could you simply disguise yourself?
sure I could pull out the head of disguise. Make an illusion. Haven't done it in a while though, but
A simple solution could be to simply encase you in armor.
Also true. Even if it's simply enough to cover up your face and features, then it shouldn't really be an issue.
I think more troublesome would be the fact if you started retching every time you went past another lycanthrope.
Maybe he just has allergies.
That would be also a big problem. But perhaps a more immediate thing to discuss would be whether or not you want to enter the city by night, or if we remain in the air and return in the early morning hours.
might be safer to set us
He's
down
back.
and back out. Yes.
At night, so now or in the morning.
I would think now. I don't know.
Probably be easier to make sure that the ship wasn't seen now.
Right.
I could protect the ship while you guys are gone. I don't have to go into the city.
That's a
It
good
would
bodyguard.
be
Yeah, just
concerning, Silas. I was glad to have you watching my back.
God damn it!
I've also heard that you have a lot of friends within the Goalless Coalition. You must be fairly familiar with laborers.
I mean,
And
that
speaking
I
of
am,
them-
but they
would
haven't
be,
been.
Great importance to this mission, I would think.
Fortunately, I think there's no hiding that both myself and Vidor have a way of speaking in a normal sense that might not fit in quite as well.
Relating from worker to worker, paw to paw.
Do you
Bedard just
guys?
have, like,
Do you
a
guys have
grin.
some kind of
He's got
spell?
the biggest smile on his face.
Do you guys have some kind of spell that can like numb my sense of smelling somehow?
Well, if you wear some sort of hood or covering, I could probably create some sort of filter of some other scent that could potentially fit over your nose area and
Yeah, I
mouth,
mean, I
and
still
potentially
have
help with that.
the cloak that I wore when I was Blue Tiger. I mean, the mask is probably not correct to wear here, but at least I have the cloak.
There are ways of numbing one's senses.
Uh-huh.
Can you also just like take off that amulet?
I mean,
Like the
I
one
definitely
piece.
will take off that amulet, but I don't think that's enough. Just
Does it make a strong difference if you have the amulet on or not with me?
with your smell, you mean?
Yes.
I mean, I can try. I take off the amulet. And I carefully sniff the air.
There is a difference. While you still smell it, it is much harder to sort of separate these distinct smells out from one another. Your general sense of smell is still pretty good, but is not as individually overwhelmed as it was before.
Oh, it's just making me a little bit nauseous.
Joy.
But I guess if I had to, I could endure it.
I believe I have probably some concoction of chemicals I could probably put together that would briefly make it difficult to smell things.
In case you need some
I don't
ethanol.
know. I don't know if it works with smell, but I have this flower that helps you forget things.
Let's not pull the flower out.
Prestidigitation would certainly do the trick, but you'd have to constantly be casting.
I have a
Not
bottle
really
of
my
perfume.
idea of being subtle.
A bottle of perfume.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that helps Evelyn's.
Perhaps we could
Yeah.
modify Silas's memories to connect the smell to a happy memory.
It seems exceptionally unlikely that it only lasted 10 minutes in his memory.
Also, don't know if I want that.
Oh, I mean, sure. Yeah, also.
I'm sure there are plenty of things to discover in there.
In my memories.
What? No. No.
I feel like my memories are the most boring ones of all of us here.
Well, especially after you forgot the interesting things. I mean,
What?
sorry.
Hmm.
No, I mean, nothing. It's fine.
It
We
does
already talked about Arcanines.
fit with earlier hypotheses.
Yeah, let's go with a mask. It sounds the best and most workable.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just the liquid you would keep sniffing will just kind of create a little space so you can refresh a gauze or something like that to be doused with that every now and then.
And that's, guys, how my D&D character turned into an addict.
Hi. Yep. Yep.
It's just huffing ethanol.
Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with this at all.
Let's ask Mr. Bottle.
Oh.
Mr. Bottle.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. The voice.
Version of Bean.
I'm thinking potion of resistance to smell. It says anti-damage type, and smell is damaging my friend.
Alright. I can give you psychic damage, because clearly your friend is brain damaged.
Even the bottle is dissing me now. I
I
feel
want to
like
fill some perfume in here, I can do that. Otherwise...
Actually, that's a great idea.
you're-
Yeah. Here, drink this.
Does it have... You fill it with perfume?
Yeah.
Alright. Work out the DC for this one. Make sure I add that later. Mr.
And then I
Ball.
need a perfume immediately.
Right.
Now he's just a Mr. Perfume Bottle.
maybe you could make it
It
smell like
is
forest or something.
not threshold bound, so you can immediately produce another bottle of perfume.
Perfect. There we go. You know, we have a mask. Now that I think
How does
about
the
it.
perfume smell?
It's just a light, like, minty perfume. It's... Rhett wears it sometimes. So it smells like Rhett.
It smells like a rat. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Rhett.
That's fine. I'm fine with red smell.
Well, like, there isn't... I don't know. It's fantasy. Is there deodorant? You know, it's what Rhett, uses. as
Yeah,
a-
yeah, there is like
Yeah.
perfumes and such.
That is essentially what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Little
Alright.
cedar wood, a little mint.
I just hope this whole thing doesn't backfire, because like my sense of smell is just also helpful in certain situations, so let's just hope it doesn't come up.
This is when I make a smell-based monster. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as you guys get ready to head into town, this is probably the best spot to end for today
Mm-hmm.
before we get into any major thing.
Finally, we had another session.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're back on regular schedule, barring any conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
So next time would be the
Need the
5th.
fifth.
Yeah.
That's good.
Looks good for me.
Yep.
I'm just waiting for someone to say no. All right.
No,
Well,
it works for me.
Okay.
I'm good.
perfect. Then, thank you guys for session.
Thank you.
Thank you, beggar.
And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.
You
Until then, good night. Bye bye. Love you guys.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.